Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome into Ratarossa HQ. This is where it all happens. There's nothing fancy here. The majority of the work on my cars all happens in here. This is where you guys sit back, have a coffee, watch me get my hands dirty, and hopefully in the process learn a trick or two. Now, first of all, before I start, I want to say a huge thanks to Sam for the video. Obviously, a lot of you new guys are here because of that, and it's a big warm welcome to you, and thank you very much for coming over to the channel and watching a few of the videos. Hopefully you'll get a thing or two from them, and hopefully you'll enjoy it in the process. So we are going to carry on from last time where we left off on the 456. We're going to take that car out for a drive, find out if we have fixed it, and then we are going to carry on with our long list of parts and problems on that car that need to be replaced and fixed. Now, a lot of you have also asked me about an update on the 308 project that I haven't actually done for a few months. I've been working on a few other things, but that will happen very shortly. In probably the next week, I'll be putting out another video on that one. Anyway, I'm going to go and get changed. We'll go out there, we'll get in the car, we'll take it out for a drive, and fingers crossed we have fixed that problem. Okay, still got my suspension light on, spoiler, check engine still. Let's take it out for a drive, see how it drives though. So, as you can see, I'm probably here, so I put my foot down. We've definitely got all the horses right now, it's working fine. I do still have the check engine light on the dash and my suspension light. No surprise there. And let's just take this out for a spin. I did forget to put some fuel in the car, so we probably can't go far. Even though I've dropped those pumps, it's not magic. If there's no fuel, there's no fuel. I'll tell you what, it's no slouch this car, but it is working or driving perfectly right now. Probably just put the kiss of death on that. We're about to probably calm down or something will blow up in this car, but right now, as of this moment, the engine is sweet as a nut. Okay, so we're in my 456 GTA auto gearbox. I just want to see if this car will do a spin. Ready? Yeah, it doesn't spin all right. Wow, that was cool. This is what I do to bring you the best dashboard shots. I can't talk. Testing, 1, 2. I am boiling in this car. I hope you appreciate this. Right, so, quick update. We have been out in the car for about 20 minutes. Good 20-minute drive. Car is looking good. No issues so far, apart from one very minute niggle that might have been just me being a bit funny. But at the same time, I did get that crackle from my radio, which kind of tells me there is some earth issues on this car. As you can see, she still flies currently. Now, I'm going to go back home because I have very little fuel left. Doing donuts and burnouts in a GTA was quite fun. Worth the fuel. Got some nice spinning going on there on the back wheels, so I'm going to stop and get a bit of lunch. Why not? Okay, shopping acquired. Why won't my car start? Car won't start. Because I left it in reverse. Now let's try it. Handbrake, handbrake, handbrake off. You know, with these Ferraris, with projects like this, when a car doesn't start, it's not totally unexpected. You kind of get used to that happening. You expect the worst, especially with battery problems on this car, but just me being silly and leaving the car in reverse, turning it off. Alright, so we've done the, we've dropped the fuel pumps. So far on our test run, bearing in mind I'm really low on fuel now, it seems to be okay. But I'm not convinced with this car that it's fixed. We will see. It's definitely a lot better than it has been previously. It was literally 50-50 before. Whenever I would start the car up, actually more often than not it would be that the car would not work fully with all of its 12 cylinders. Now, so far today, it's been very good. Let's hope it continues to be that way. The major issue with this car was obviously the engine, right? If you haven't got an engine that is reliable, there's no such word on a Ferrari to be honest, semi-reliable, let's say, where most of the time it's working, then that is not good. You can't really use the car. Now, if we fix that issue, that is the first major bonus, and all that it's cost me to do that is the cost of those 2 fuel pumps. So very cool. So let's turn the car off, just reverse it back so I can get the garage door open and start looking at some of those other issues. Someone on F-Chat mentioned that they had a similar problem with the power loss on their 456, and it was caused by the earths on the back of the engine block. So I'm just reseating those on here, both sides, and we'll just, the car is running, but I have no confidence that that is going to fix it. Dropping the fuel pumps, there we go, that's that one. Let's get on to the other side. There's one over there and one just down there. Okay, so let's clean that up as well. While we have the engine up, another issue that we discovered was the horn on this car was very, very quiet. So here's our little, I guess that's the compressor. Down the bottom, the red things, there's 2 of them. You can just see the little trumpets. Now I've looked at the tubing. Tubing's all attached down there, and it comes up and it works its way up. This is the one coming down today. Trumpets, now that was very loose. I've just reseated that, so let's push that right back up on there. I can put a clamp around it if this fixes it. Let's come in the car, have a little look. That is better. What do you guys think of the latest edition? It is red, it's not a Ferrari, but it is in fact a very British iconic telephone box. So I'm going to fix that up in the background. I need some suggestions from you guys how we can use that. I'm thinking maybe some live streaming from inside, who knows. The other thing I wanted to do with the engine was the injectors. I was going to check those, because what we've done with this car is we've replaced those fuel pumps back in the tank at the back of the car. I've now just dropped those down. We've got some success with that. I've replaced the fuel filters, which are kind of under the back of the car, but from there forward nothing's been changed. Now I was intending to pull the injectors, clean those up and have a look at them, but the car is now running currently really well. I've not had any kind of issues with it. So if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. And that is always the case with a Ferrari. So for the time being, I'm going to leave the injectors, run it around. If I do get the problem again, I'll start looking and removing those and cleaning those up. So you're probably getting an idea now from these videos that Ferraris of this era suffer with a few electrical gremlins, this being no exception. So my next job is I'm going to go around with this stuff, dielectric silicone grease, and we are going to just basically take off some of these connectors, clean them up if I can get it off. There we go, clean them up and put a little bit of this special stuff on them, things like that. The massive air filters here, we're going to do the connectors here, any little connector, electrical connector that I can see. I'm going to take it off, make sure nothing's corroded, clean it up and put some of this stuff on there. The way we're going to prioritize the jobs on this Ferrari project are, number one, the annoyance factor. So things like the engine not running correctly when we're driving along. That's not only annoying, it's very dangerous as well. The car not shutting off at night, again, my fault. I have a workaround, but I keep forgetting, but we're going to try and rectify that. We're going to try and do some of the cheaper, easier fixes, go around it, just do the obvious stuff. Then we're going to be looking at the maintenance side of things. We're going to be doing a full major step-by-step service like we did on the Ferrari 360. And then after that, we're going to be looking at bodywork, upgrades, and other little bits, interior side of things. So let's crack on and do some of those higher value fixes first of all. So we've sorted out a few of the engine issues here. The overheating problem, we have topped up our coolant, drop the fuel pumps now. That seems to have rectified the issue here. We've tried our earths on either side of the engine, and now the next thing we're going to have a look at before we start going ahead and doing a big full major service on this car, cam belts. I want to iron out a few of the niggles and the little problems that we're facing. So we're going to look at the suspension. Now the way this works on the 456 and many Ferraris of this era, we have got a little actuator on top of each of the suspension mounts. So we've got two here at the front and two at the rear. Typically these things go wrong quite commonly. So if I get in here with the GoPro, this red actuator here is the one on the top of my right side. Now there's a little clip around it, around the base, that holds it. That is the only thing that holds that down in place on top. So I'm going to remove that with my fingers and then we'll be able to pull it off. We just need to unconnect this connector block here and then I'll take it out and show you. Getting down here with my fingers, I'm just going to pull this little wire clip. Now the danger of this is these things ping off all the time. There's one, there we go, and that is our little clip. Okay, so I've just disconnected the block. Now all you need to do is just slide that up and that is it. No tools needed. Now there's four of them, like I say, on the car. The crazy thing with these is with that, each of those is about £900, four of them. And you wonder why Ferraris are expensive. These commonly go wrong. Right, let's see if I can show you the other thing you need to check that also goes wrong, and that is actually this little gear on top of the suspension strut itself. As you can see, mine moves, so you need to check it not only moves, but you want to make sure that all the teeth on it Can't really get the camera right down there, but there's teeth around that. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. You see the teeth? I'll move that on my finger. You need to make sure all those teeth are in place and correct, so the actuator can actually turn that. And that is what the car is doing when you turn it on. It's doing a test on these to make sure that they move, and if they don't, that's when you get an error. Okay, and this is the part we're looking at. It is 158732. It's the same used on many Ferrari models of that era, 550s, 456, 355s, a couple of the Maseratis, even I believe a Corvette used a similar system. That's all compatible. Maserati ones come in blue. They used to be cheaper. I'm not sure if they are nowadays. Anyway, we just need to pop this rubber bung out the way, which I've done already. Then the parts we're looking at for this is this little gear here. Typically that will break, or more commonly the outside little bracket, black bracket, you can't really see it there, but that breaks as well. So we're gonna pop all 4 of those off the car and check those just to make sure they have not caused any problem, because any problem with those will give me an error on the dash, a suspension error. Okay, so that's our other front. I'm just going to check that one. Rears are slightly more difficult. We need to come in, take the rear wheel off. At the top of the inner arch there's a little access panel. I think it's got about 4 screws. You take that off, you put your hand in, you have to remove the clip in there. It's quite a small little hole, so it's quite tight. Then pull the actuator off, take it out the car, obviously disconnect it, check those, getting it back in. It's just the clip really. It's very difficult to get your hand in there without losing the clip. So word of warning, be very careful. I finished removing and checking all 4 of the actuators on the 456, plugged them back in, and I still have the dash warning light on. So they are notoriously hard to spot a problem with these if it's got a hairline cracking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Ferrari 355, which runs exactly the same system, borrow the actuators from there, put them in the 456 and 100% verify that there's not a problem with one of the ones on the car. We'll try that. If not, we've got the computer, switch gear and wiring to check on the suspension. In the meantime, it does look like the $19,000 cheap Ferrari has paid off somewhat. It was a salvage car, but mainly it was cheap because it was a non-runner. Now we have fixed that by spending just over $150 worth of fuel pumps. It's running, and it currently is running really smoothly. So I am super happy with that one. Regarding the Ferrari 456, as you can see, we are gradually ticking off one by one those list of problems with the car. We're focusing primarily on the engine area, and that's simply because if I want to use the car, it fills me with a little bit more confidence it's not going to break down in the meantime. So while I go off, have a nice cup of tea, I'm going to go and film an update on the Ferrari 308 series for you. In the meantime, if you do want to follow me for a more regular update, you can follow me here on my Instagram. I want to thank you guys for tuning in, watching the videos. If you've got any suggestions or any comments, write them below. The best one I've had so far is someone wants me to film a video on how to convince your wife or girlfriend that you need a sports car in your life, Ferrari or whatever. I've got a lot of experience in that, got a lot of suggestions, so we will be filming that one shortly. Well guys, that is a wrap for today. I will see you real soon in the next one. Cheers and ciao for now.